Welcome back to Science Free. Today we are focusing on solving pairs of nonlinear equations. Nonlinear equations are equations that contain one or more variable that is being raised to the power of 2 or more. Equation 2 is nonlinear, while equation 1 is a linear equation. When solving pairs of nonlinear equations, we can take similar steps to solve by using the addition method, in which we cancel a term leaving us with another to solve for. Both equations 1 and 2 have a single y term. We can cancel them to leave us with only x to solve for. But to be able to cancel them, we have to make the signs opposite and equal by multiplying equation 1 by a -1. We start off by multiplying equation 1 by a -1 because it has the least exponent. -1 times y equals -1y. -1 times 2x gives -2x. -1 times -3 gives +3 because negative times negative gives positive. -1 multiplied by 0 gives 0. We can rewrite equation 2 below. And then draw a horizontal line and minus. Y plus minus y will cancel to give only 0y. X squared and 2x are not really like terms, so we write x squared minus 2x. -6 plus 3 equals -3. Zero plus 0 gives 0. So we end up having a quadratic equation here. We can solve it using the factoring method. We already covered a video on how to factor a quadratic equation. A link will be provided in the description. So to factor this quadratic equation, we focus on this last constant. We need to find what two numbers we could multiply together to get 3, and those two numbers must add together to give this middle term of -2. We multiply 1 times 3 to get 3. To get the middle term, we add -3 plus 1, which gives -2. We write back the x squared term along with an order with -3x plus 1x. Along with -3 equals 0. We can now group the terms in pairs using brackets. X is common in this bracket, so we can just write an x outside and x minus 3 inside. If we multiply x by x, we get this x squared term. X times -3 gives -3x. We write back the sign in the middle. We do the same for the second bracket, we write x minus 3 inside and 1 outside to multiply. We focus on the terms that are outside the bracket and write them together in the bracket, that is x plus 1. After we just write x minus 3 in bracket side by side and make the equation equal 0. We can rewrite x plus 1 separately, now making the equation equal to 0. And we also do the same for x minus 3 in the bracket. To find x, we move over +1 to the right and it becomes a -1. To find x again on the right, we move over -3 to the right and it becomes a +3. So now we found that x can be either -1 or 3. The next thing to do now is to write back the simpler equation, which is equation 1, then substitute back the value we found for x anywhere we see x. In the original equation, we have y plus 2 multiplying by x, we know that x is -1, so we replace x with -1 in brackets. 2 times -1 gives -2. We write -3 along with the equal sign and then 0. -2 minus 3 gives a +5. To get y by itself, we move over -5 to the right and it becomes positive. We can now go ahead and substitute the next value we have for x, which is 3, so that we can work out the other value that y could also be. 2 times 3 equals 6. 3 from 6 equals 3. To get y alone on one side, we move over positive 3, and it becomes a minus 3. For this one, we simply want to write it in standard form. By writing it in standard form, we should have x, then y. So we just move over this y term in equation 1 and make the equation equal 0. And also allow both equations 1 and 2 to be inline with each other. Because there are opposite signs for the y terms, they will just cancel, so we don't need to worry about multiplying any of the equations by any negative number so that we can have opposite signs to cancel. We write x squared plus x. The y's will cancel each other. 12 plus 0 equals 12, so we write 12. This quadratic equation we end up having isn't in the standard form. So we just bring over the last term, which is 12, and it will become a minus 12. And then make the equation equal to 0. If we factor this quadratic equation, the roots would be x equals minus 4 and x equals 3. To now find the y values, we want to substitute the values for x in the simpler equation, which is equation 1. Because we have x equals minus 4, we want to exclude that because a negative number doesn't have any real solution. So we move on to use the next solution for x, which is a positive 3. 3 is equal to y squared. To get rid of the squared term, we place a square root over y, which will then cancel the square and also the square root, leaving only y, but we also write before a plus or minus sign, then a square root also over 3. The plus and minus mean that we will end up getting two solutions, which are a positive square root of 3 and also a minus square root of 3. So we want to write the value for x and y, which is a positive 3, square root of 3. And also 3, minus the square root of 3. For these pair of equations, both are nonlinear because they have exponents which are 2. The signs are not opposite, so what we need to do now is to make sure we achieve that. So we can start off by multiplying equation 2 by a minus 1. We can now go ahead and cancel the x squared terms. 1y squared minus 4y squared equals 3y squared. (11 minus 16 gives 5. To get y squared alone, we divide both sides by 3. And now to get rid of the squared term, we carry a square root over y squared, then a plus or minus sign in front of 5 over 3, then a square root sign also. We found that y is equal to plus or minus the square root of 5 over 3. We want to substitute the value for y in the simpler equation, which is equation 2. Remember that whenever we have a square root and it is being squared, the square root will be cancelled, so that leaves us with 5 over 3. We want to make x remain on one side, so we move over the fraction behind the number after the equal sign, and it will become minus. What we want to do now is to find the LCM. The LCM of 1 and 3 is just 3. 3 divided into 1 goes 3 times. 3 times 11 equals 33. 3 divided into 3 goes 1 time. 1 times 5 equals 5. 5 from 33 equals 18, and we carry back the LCM. Now we have x squared equal to a fraction of 18 over 3. We carry a square root sign over the x squared to cancel it. We place a plus and minus sign before the fraction 18 over 3 and then place a square root sign over it. So x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 18 over 3. Thank you for watching. You can attempt these 3 and send your working out through our email provided in the description.